All right, take two, and we are live. What's up, everyone?
Maybe we'll get it going on a take one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days.
We'll get good at broadcasting.
Once again, shout out to Freddie Gretty.
Freddie Gretty
uses awesome
pretty
music.
Badass, man. That music is pretty sick.
Yeah,
link to his
good.
website below. You can listen to all his stuff. But
Every single one of his songs.
welcome to PvP School. This is episode 1.
Up your game.
Up your game.
Up your game, sir.
But yeah, no, you're seriously going to become a fucking good WoW player if you listen to us, take our knowledge, take our advice that we present to you.
That's the plan, at least. I would like to think that
So yeah, that's kind of what we're about. We
giving tips.
we've been playing WoW since it launched in 2004.
Yeah, day one. Day
And,
numero uno, as they say in Espanol.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of
Yeah.
experience over the years, and I feel like we have a pretty good understanding of the game. And a lot
Better
of people,
than a newbie, at least.
a lot of people
So-
out there don't. I've seen a lot of forum posts lately, a lot of posts on Reddit about like, what do? I just started playing a Warlock.
Yeah.
I want to get the PvP, but I don't really know what's going on. So, rather than replying to every single person who asks that question, why not start a show to teach people, and then I can just refer them to here.
Yeah, we want to do a little bit, especially we kind of just took a recent break from WoW before when MoP kicked off. Got back into it roughly halfway through the first season,
batch,
and we had an experience with PvP guides. What do we do? And it was like, here's the stats you need, here's the gems you need, here's your rotation or priority queue.
Your talents.
Go. And that was it. And it was like, you watch 7 hours of video, and that's all you get. And it's just like,
exactly.
you don't get to see.
You can go to Noxic, you can go to Icy Veins, and they'll tell you basically what they give you is a formula. They're like, follow this formula. You need these gems, like you said, and that's how you play. But
gems, chance, priority queue, rotation, whatever you want to call it.
That doesn't
things you want to use.
Give you
push.
It doesn't give you a really good understanding of what you're doing, though. You can slap those keys all day long, but that's not going to make you a good player.
No.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to kind of get at, is like, you can go watch streams, you can go watch guide videos. Most of it is just the person will play and they'll be like, oh yeah, look how good I am. This is just do what I do, and that's how you be good. But really, they can even tell you a rotation. They can even tell you like, oh, you open with a cheap shot into a garrote, and then you need, this moves, these debuffs, these buffs. But you still don't really understand the game very well.
Yeah, it doesn't teach you, how to make the decisions by yourself.
Exactly.
And because it's situational, you're not going to do that every time. And while it's a good start, it's not how you want to do things every single time. So
how do you become a good player? How do you start to understand those things? Well, the short answer is experience, is getting in there and playing the game and learning on your own. But we want to kind of give you a formula to follow to learn in the right way and to become a good player.
So that way you don't have to do it all yourself.
Yeah,
because we just want to speed you along a little bit. Even if you learn one thing, it's one thing that you don't have to figure out for yourself. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean, we're gonna do some episodes where we go in depth and really talk about a specific comp or a specific class and say like, this is why this works well. This is why this doesn't work. This is how you stop this strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
But to start out, we want to just kind of lay down a really simple.
Break it down into three main things.
Exactly. Break down the strategy, the kind of philosophy per se that we've developed on how to become a good PvPer.
Yeah.
We've kind of sat down and thought what really makes PvP, what really makes a good PvPer, a good player. What, at a very fundamental level, what is it?
Yeah.
And we've kind of come up with an answer for that question. So our philosophy for PvP, we kind of have devised 3 fundamental principles. So the 3 principles that go into PvP are, number 1, mechanics. Number 2, knowledge. And number 3, strategy. And we're going to talk about all those things in depth here in the show. In 3 different parts. That's pretty much it. 3 parts of our philosophy. We should come up with like a name for it.
We'll get on that.
Three-pronged.
If you think of something, put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
If we use it, we'll give you a shout out.
Triforce philosophy.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll think of something cool.
Something cool.
So,
I don't know.
Let's talk about mechanics. What are mechanics?
Okay, go for it.
Mechanics are how you play your character, how you play the game.
Yeah, how you control your character. Yeah,
that's exactly it. And that may sound simple, like, oh, you just
push in
move.
the buttons
that
make your character do things that it needs to do. That's what the mechanics is.
It may sound simple, like, oh, I'll just move my character. That doesn't really have to do with anything. But really, there are kind of, everybody plays the game their own way, but there are kind of right and wrong ways to do it.
Yeah,
and there's ways to be much more efficient.
Really not right and wrong. Optimal.
Optimal is a better
way to put it. There's no real wrong way to do things, but there's efficient ways to do things.
Absolutely.
More efficient ways to do things than.
For instance, moving. Let's just talk about that. Everybody starts out, the WSAD, forward, back, left, and right. And you do that for a while, but really that's not the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah.
So what is more efficient than just WSAD keyboard turning?
Well, the disadvantage of keyboard turning versus, moving with your mouse is you just can't move the same way. You say you want to make a turn, you can only turn as sharp as the game lets you with your keys. You can't hit like that 90-degree turn where it's really useful in PvP. You got to make
sluggish.
It is.
If you need to turn around and like throw a counter spell on their healer and then go back to DPSing, it's gonna take you like counter spell, back, and there's like 2 global cooldowns wasted in that time.
Yeah, you can just use your mouse and bam, turn around.
Yeah.
Hit him with it. You're already casting another spell, moving, doing whatever you have to do.
If you're used to the fundamentals of moving your character with the keyboard, it's going to be kind of hard to get used to doing it a different way. But
it's going to be foreign.
I implore you,
it's going to be strange.
Force yourself to do it. Practice. Yeah. You'll get used to it eventually. What you want to do is turn with your mouse. Hold down that right click, whip your character around. You can turn instantly.
Yeah, definitely.
You can jump, turn, all that kind of stuff.
And the advantage that goes with that is if you're moving with your mouse versus your keyboard, you can move with your mouse, and then you can use your keybinds to hit, your character's abilities versus moving to click them. That moving is something that can slow you down.
Yeah.
Also, you can misclick. And it was just with the amount of moves you have in the game right now, that'd be crazy. You have the bars on the side, you have to go across the screen.
Everybody has like 400
it'd be crazy.
moves.
Yeah, so
keep adding them every patch, every expansion.
It's good to have them all bound. It's good to move with your mouse. It's not needed, but it's going to help you be better because you're going to do things faster. You're going to move faster, turn quicker, sharper.
So what you want to do
and such.
with those A and D keys, instead of having your turn on them, is what I recommend is putting strafe on them. Get the strafe off Q and E, put them down on A and D. That way you can be able to strafe your character with those keys and then turn at the same time. That's really useful when you need to be attacking someone and running sideways at the same time. That's just probably the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Or even if you just want to leave them there, if you hold down the right click on your mouse.
Yeah, totally.
You move forward. You can use the A and D. Will strafe you if you're moving with your mouse. So you can use
if you get the
right click to move sideways.
Off of Q and E keys, you can also use those as keybinds. Put extra abilities on there. Have them right close into your thing. Yeah, that's another thing is backpedaling.
It's slow.
You don't pretty much ever want to backpedal.
If you could backpedal at 100% movement speed, it would be okay.
There's really no situation where you want to be moving backwards and shooting at something forwards in front of you, because you're going to be moving slow.
Yeah.
It's going to put you at a disadvantage. Yeah. It's much more efficient if you need to move somewhere behind you. Just turn your character, move quickly, and then turn back.
Even you can kind of strafe sideways and still hit something.
Yeah, when you're strafing,
like towards on the left view or the right
180 degrees is in front of you. You can be shooting at someone pretty much that direction while moving this direction at the same time.
So
it's much more efficient than backpedaling.
Yeah, exactly.
Just take it off the S key. If you're too used to it, just remove it so you can't physically do it. You'll get used to it that way.
I think it's even faster if you move in a zigzag.
Yeah.
It's faster than even just straight up S key. Especially in PvP since you're slowed most of the time. That movement impairing effect will slow you down even more than the S key already does.
For sure.
So you can use that as another bind, and you should just stop doing that.
So, like, a lot of the stuff, maybe for some of you veterans out there, it might sound like, oh, yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want a keyboard turn and stuff. Yeah. And that, you may already be used to this, but there's a lot of people out there who are just starting the game, who are just getting into it, who don't really know that kind of stuff. So.
I would not want to start WoW for the first time today. No. I tell you that much.
Took a lot of
that would suck
experience.
I know some people who are doing it,
to really
and they're absolutely frustrated, and they just it's good to have someone to kind of turn to, who has the experience.
We're gonna lay it down for you in layman's terms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Basically, just to help you out a little bit. Yeah. So that way, we're giving you ground to run on. You know what I'm saying? We just want you to be able to start off with a little confidence.
So some more important things that go into your mechanics are, a big one is key bindings, and
definitely.
We have a video on key bindings. We're not going to really go too in depth to it right now, but let's just talk about why key bindings are important.
I think we pretty much, it helps you get to abilities quickly.
Exactly.
Especially since you can use your hand. You don't even have to look down. Once you get your key bindings down, you can just hit the keys that you need to hit.
You don't
it's
want
real
to
fast,
have
real
to
quick. You don't. You get that time. You don't waste any time moving.
Exactly. The goal is you never want to have to click something on your screen.
Yeah.
Dragging your mouse over, clicking it, it's inefficient. It takes a lot of time.
It does.
And there's a lot of chance for error there. It's very easy to misclick something. Well,
all kinds of stuff like that. So.
Computer, just whatever. We're still good though, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, still
we'll
recording.
That out.
I thought the computer was restarting or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to get to the point where you have everything you're ever going to do in the game bound to a key on your keyboard. That's going to be your most efficient. You're never going to have to take your mouse off of the focus of moving your character.
Yeah, and everything like we said, we did. I think
will be right on your hand.
Yeah, we pretty much covered that in the
video. Like I said, we have a video on keybinds where we really talk about it in depth, how to do it, why it's good. Go check that out on our video archives page on YouTube.
Definitely.
That'll help you out a lot.
Yeah. We also have a video on add-ons.
Yeah. Add-ons.
Get into it. We just basically talk about which add-ons are beneficial versus being unnecessary, and why unnecessary add-ons can be bad. So you can check out the video.
The pros don't really use add-ons, but a lot of people do because they can be helpful. But you got to be careful because some can mess you up.
Big time. Yeah.
But yeah, like we said, we go in depth on our add-ons video. Go check that out. But that plays into your mechanics as well, because there are add-ons that can change your mechanics and things like that. Basically, the fundamental principle is you don't really want to change the way the game works in its stock form.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you
add-ons that change the mechanics are bad. But yeah, go check out our add-on video. You'll get the whole lay down on that.
It's pretty sweet. Check it out.
So mechanics, it sounds really simple, like I said, but it can make
it's
a
just
huge
more than you would think. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Being able to do what you want to do with your character when you want to do it, and not having to think about it. Basically, you want to get to the point where you think.
It's an instant kind of thing.
Exactly. The thoughts just flow through your character rather than think, okay, I want to sheep this person.
It's more of an instinct.
Where's my sheep button? I have to click on this person and cast the sheep. There's too much variance there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to get to the point where you can just think, oh, sheep that dude, boom, it's already done.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you want to be.
Now, the best way, I think, to build up your mechanics, to work on them, it's a process. It's not just a formula. You have to practice. The best way, in my opinion, if you're PvPing, of course. If you're not, get the hell out of here.
No, right? Go raid! Go get in a raid!
Just go fucking AFK and Raid Finder, and you'll get fucking rank 1.
Yeah,
Stupid.
Definitely. I don't think Raid Finder is ranked. But you can do Raid Finder, and that's not why we're here. So go raid.
Do that shit.
If you want to watch, it's cool, but we're not going to talk about raiding. So
no, it's for PvP in this.
The best raider is PvP because raiding is boring.
No, what was that quote you said last time? It's like, if somebody's a really good raider when
they don't raid.
You don't raid. The best raiders don't raid because they realize this is dumb.
Some people do both. I mean, kudos to you. But.
Yeah. If you like it, it's cool. It can be fun. The lore is really neat, going to an epic dungeon. But when you can just AFK and wipe through it, there's no fun in that.
No.
Anyways, back on point. The best way to build your mechanics, go BG. Just go queue up random BGs. If you have friends, it'll help. It's nice. But even if you don't, just go focus on using the moves you want to use when you want to use them and not screwing that up. Because at first it can, you want to minimize the time it takes from your thought of, I need to do this, to it actually happening in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the core right there.
You want to cut out the IRL lag, so to speak.
That's going to make you faster, better, more efficient player. Yeah. Practice things like not just your regular DPS rotation. Start with that, and then add on more and more, little by little.
Just build upon it, and once you want it to be habitual.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying to say. Build upon it so that way you don't need to actively think about it. It just happens.
Now, sometimes you'll be in situations that are obviously just unwinnable. If there's like 10 on 1 or something, you're just not going to be able to do anything. But practice like little, encounters. Practice like control on a healer while you're damaging a DPS. One thing we haven't talked about yet is focus targeting. Focus targeting can be extraordinarily helpful. It's really important.
Big time.
So
need to do it.
What a focus is, for those who don't know, is like you have your regular target. A target nameplate pops up. You can set another keybind to focus somebody, which will take your target and basically move it somewhere else. And then you can target somebody else and then have that focused person stay there the entire time. You can focus a friendly player or an enemy player.
It permanently targets somebody and puts it in a separate portrait.
Essentially, you're going to have two targets at once. Yeah. And you can set up macros to where you will use certain abilities on your focus target without having to change your current target.
Yeah.
So you can focus on DPSing one person that's your regular target, and then have a healer, say, on your focus. See, it'll show you his casting bar, so you can see when he's casting like a big heal.
You could silencing shot him if you're a hunter.
Exactly.
Scatter him. Trap him.
You can set it up so you can
him if you're a mage.
Counterspell him.
Blind him if you're a rogue.
Without having to deselect your current target.
Charge stun, interrupt stun. If you're a warrior, you can, do all kinds of stuff without actually having to switch targets
on a focus target. Yeah. That way,
it just speeds up your gameplay.
Exactly. It'll be more efficient. You won't have to switch targets. You don't have to misclick. There'll be no misclicking involved. So the way to do that is just go into your key bindings. There's a keybind for target focus target.
Yep.
Set that up to whatever works for you. Mine is like Shift Tab because Tab kind of is targeting. Shift Tab, focus target.
Yep,
or you can set up a click in Gladius to focus target. I think by default it's right click.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so, yeah.
Practice getting used to that in BGs. Like if there's a healer around, focus the healer, target a DPS, and then go to
Focus Counterspell is another example. They're just flowing through me right now, the examples of what you can do with a focus.
If you get really good at focusing and playing with the target, you'll be a really
and with a keybind, it's really good because you can switch actively. You can do a healer and go through a CC rotation until the diminishing returns make it so they're immune. Then you can focus someone else and CC them just by clicking them and or targeting them and hitting your focus keybind, and then it's all set. You can switch back and forth, and it's really useful. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's for mechanics. It's just kind of summing up. I know we kind of threw a lot out at some people if you're just starting out, but
if you have questions, like we can post some macros for focusing and stuff like that down below. But if you have questions, tweet at us, email us, comment down below the video.
We'll definitely
we can answer questions. We're always online talking to people.
Definitely.
We can slap some like macros on how to use focus targets and stuff like that.
If you want to hit us up in game, just email us. Be like, "What's your battle tag?" I can hit you up. And then we can talk to you in game. Run a couple games with even.
The name of the game is practice. Getting BGs, just play
tons of
hours. Practice. It'll come to you.
Definitely.
Just keep at it and add on a little bit at a time with your key bindings.
Don't get discouraged.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll get there, kid. You'll get there. I'm your #1 fan. Yeah.
So we're going to go to a minute or two break here, and when we come back to part 2, we're going to talk about what the knowledge part of the trifecta is.
Yeah, I guess. Well, we're still working on the name.
We'll come up with a good one.
We're just going to think about it while we listen to some more sweet Freddy Greddy.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to
find a 6 song to throw in here.
Play some of that for you while we take a break, and we'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes, so just sit tight.
Peace out.